What's going on, everybody? It's your boy back with another version video, and I'll be reacting to SCP-428, The Crowd. Now, I got your message, Alpha Shocker. I saw it. I saw it today. Well, you sent it today, but it's not that I wasn't gonna do it. To be honest, I forgot. Also, I've been out of town for like the past week and a half. Well, not week and a half because it's Friday. Yeah, I left Thursday last week, and I went to Missouri to demo a house. Pretty much just taking shit out so professionals can come and put shit in. And then one of my relatives had surgery, and I was helping them out. So I'm still actually helping them out, but they're better. So they're getting better. But yeah, I did forget, but I had the video downloaded on my computer. So when I opened it up, when I got back into reacting, I was going to see it and I was going to react to it. But I did forget. So that's my bad. Because I meant to react to it before leaving. But my work got crazy and I couldn't react like I wanted to. I couldn't to anything. And then I ended up leaving, going down to Missouri. And I couldn't react to anything that night because I was working all day. And then helping a relative out when I get back. Uh, today's today's Saturday now. What now? It's Saturday. Um, I got back Friday. So I got back yesterday. Well, no, I got back day before yesterday. Thursday. And I've been helping them out after their surgery with stuff with you know get better. But anyway, I'm doing it now, so that's all that matters. But I've never heard of this. The Crowd. Is it like a crowd of people that knowing SCP, a crowd of people that are bulletproof, fireproof, almost everything proof, and they eat human flesh for whatever reason. But they look normal. They don't look like zombies. They look like normal people, but they're cannibals for whatever reason. That's usually how SCP shit go. And they have an anomalous effect to make the human want to be eaten if they're like within 20 feet of them. But this is from, what is it? Dr. Bob. So I'll be putting a link in the description down below so you go check out the video yourself. But without further ado, here we go.
A young woman is spending the morning in town, completing a few errands she's been meaning to get to for a while. She picks up a few items from the supermarket, gets the cracked screen on her smartphone repaired, and decides to treat herself to a Danish from a local bakery.
It must be an
It's
iPhone.
a relatively idyllic Tuesday, until she turns the corner into a narrow side street and sees...
Oh, she had a little bump back
It can
there.
often be a little disconcerting to suddenly find yourself staring at a crowd that is gathered for seemingly no reason.
Yeah, why you?
Makes her particularly nervous, and she quickly
I wonder
realizes
why.
Each person in the tightly packed together group is grinning, as if they are all in on a particularly cruel joke.
Just shitting grin on their face
At face value,
in
they all
broad
seem to be very
daylight,
different
which
people.
is more
A collage of ages, races,
more
genders,
unnerving.
different clothes with different styles, and yet they're all walking with perfect synchronicity, one perfectly timed footfall at a time.
Maybe they're in the military.
This is enough to seriously creep her out. Whatever this strange group of people is doing, she wants no part of it. Instead, she turns and heads in the opposite direction.
It's too late.
And stealing discreet but frequent glances over her shoulder.
Shit.
She can't help but notice, even when the crowd exits the small side street, that they remain huddled together, like security guards packed tight around some invisible VIP. And even worse,
why are
they
you
seem to be following her trajectory?
Why are you
Getting
just
faster,
walking?
Getting closer,
Run.
perfectly in sync with one another. How are all these people gaining so fast? She thinks to herself.
Run.
When she's around a corner and out of sight, she does the sensible thing and breaks into a sprint.
Thank
to put
you.
some distance between herself.
Don't tell me they're gonna be running
Even though
too.
they haven't shown any signs of overt aggression, she can tell on some visceral level that they mean her great harm. She knows
Better
if ever they get
fuck you
close
up.
enough, within grasping distance, something terrible will happen.
Oh, I was about to
She's
say
sitting
what?
back at her home and locks herself in, bolting the door behind her. She
It's
breathes a
already
sigh.
too late.
She's not relieved.
They've chosen
not
you.
really. Maybe she's paranoid, but she feels like she isn't out of the woods just yet. Those eerie smiles, those perfect footsteps, she can't get them out of her mind. She slips into her kitchen and slides a knife out of the block.
I was just
She tells
thinking that.
herself that doing this is a little crazy, but having some kind of weapon in hand makes her feel at least a little bit safer. But whatever the feelings of comfort the knife gives her are shattered when she hears the doorbell ring. She hadn't ordered anything. She wasn't expecting anyone. Who could that be? She hides the knife behind her back and makes her way towards
Don't
the door.
open the door. Look out the
No.
window.
It rings again. Whoever is on the other side is getting impatient. She opens the door slightly, but leaves
Why
the
would
chain
you
in
open
place.
the door?
There's a smiling man in a business suit on the other side. She's racking her brain, trying to remember. Is he one of the people from the crowd? Or is she just imagining things?
Yep, he was in the back. There he is.
She can't tell anymore. She can feel her palm getting sweaty around the knife's handle. The man at the door clears his throat and says, "Excuse me, ma'am, I won't take up too much of your time, but I wanted to ask, have you heard the good word?" She shakes her head and tells the stranger that she isn't interested in hearing his pitch, but he just keeps smiling and presses on.
Close the door.
Do you ever feel lonely, dissatisfied, unfulfilled? Don't you ever wish that you could become a part of something bigger than yourself?
No.
It'd be a real weight
Fuck
off your
off.
shoulders. She's starting to run out of polite ways to deny him when she hears a faint tapping against the nearby glass. The young woman turns her head and looks into her living room. There's a smiling woman standing at the window, rapping on the glass,
Oh, boy.
grinning. The chill sets in immediately. She recognizes that face with absolute certainty. It's one of the people from the crowd, and now she knows for sure that the man at the door is too.
Yeah, so he was in the
When she
back.
turns back to him, all she sees is his hand reaching through the gap in the door for her. She turns and runs as the sheer collective momentum of the crowd forces open the door.
Oh, see, that's why you should have closed the
Tumbling
door.
over each other, but still smiling. She notices something trailing out of their clothes. Long, sinewy ropes that look like they're made of living flesh, wriggling and pumping. With each passing second, this whole situation seems to just be getting worse and worse. Thinking quickly, she decides to
Don't go
upstairs.
upstairs.
If she gets to her bedroom fast enough, she can lock her door from the inside, open the window, and climb down the trail
okay.
into the yard
Well.
before they can break in. In that moment, it seems like the best course of action, but only because she has no idea just how quickly the crowd can close the distance. In an instant,
I was about to say go out the
crowd is up
back
onto the
door,
stairs and
but
following her.
she may not
extending
have
and
a back
grasping
door.
hands in unison. Who
What's
are
a
they?
house?
Why are they doing this? The questions that flood her mind are soon forced out by the shock of the grinning stranger
Oh, they got her.
pulling her into a powerful bear hug.
Stab
His
him.
is hard, and she can feel it in her muscles and bones. She wriggles for her life, but she can't resist his strength.
Stab
The
him.
rest of the crowd reaches for her. She
Stab him in
spots
the
those powerful
face.
Fleshy cords again, emerging from the backs of all these terrifying
Ugh.
strangers. And now she sees what they're all leading back to: a giant, formless blob of flesh, like some corrupted, unknown organ, a huge, monstrous tumor. It pulses and throbs. Just looking at it makes her want to be sick, and she can feel the most horrible energy coming off of it. Whatever this thing is, it wants her. It's reaching for her. Fight or flight kicks in, and this time flight isn't an option. The stranger in the suit has a good grip on her, in spite of his missing fingers, but she's still got the knife. She
Yes.
can see the cord trailing from his back into the giant flesh blob, and with one decisive strike, she severs it with the kitchen knife. Immediately, the man in the suit lets go of her. Both ends of the cord flop down, spraying more of the flesh-colored pus, but the effect on the man himself is even more drastic. He flails around, making the most horrible guttural gurgling noises.
Don't
she's ever
look
heard.
at this shit.
He
Run.
heaves and vomits out gallons of the pus. It sprays from his eyes and nose like a fire hose. It oozes down and out of his pant legs. His body deflates like a punctured balloon as
Pissing
awful
that shit
substance
out.
cascades out of him until all that's left is a wet, vacant sack of skin and clothes.
That's what you gonna be. You don't get the
But she
fuck
doesn't
out of
have
there.
time to dwell on the horrors she's just witnessed. She needs to get out of here now. She turns and continues running up the stairs as the crowd regroups and begins chasing her. She can hear their perfectly synchronized footsteps.
Damn, these
sloshing
fuckers
over
are
the liquids of
faster
the
than
fallen
they
member.
look.
They've barely even slowed down. She keeps running. She just needs
How
to
long
keep
is this
running.
stairway?
A number of hands close around her body.
Oh my
Several of them clamp around her wrist, squeezing tight until the knife falls from her hand and clatters to the ground. They've learned already. The crowd rises up and closes around her. No matter how hard she struggles, they won't budge. They just keep huddling in. She can hear the giant pulsing mass of flesh closing in behind her. She feels one of those long, fleshy cords slithering up her back, its fibrous strands easing their way into her flesh until the connection is made. Her eyes roll up into her head as it pumps the fluid into her body, melting away everything inside and congealing it into the same nightmarish slop that she'd just seen splattering out of the man in the business suit moments ago. Little by little, everything that was once her is hollowed out, filled in, and painted over.
Damn, it's fucked up.
Once the transformation is complete, she smiles, just like all the others. But she's not she anymore. She's just another part of it, its newest addition, a replacement for the man in the suit. The crowd leaves shortly after, keeping...
Well, it looked like she was going to be added. I mean, she replaced him now.
At some point, everyone has felt the desire to fit in. But one anomaly takes the desire to join the throng to its ultimate extreme. This is SCP-428, also known as the Crowd. In its purest state, SCP-428 is an amorphous mass connected to a number of human hosts with organic tendrils, similar to umbilical cords. The central mass is obscured by its multiple human hosts, numbering 14 at the present moment, and it is an extremely dangerous entity. Once an individual is assimilated into its mass, they are to be considered lost. Upon assimilation, all of the victim's complex internal structures, bones, musculature, organs, nervous system, are instead replaced by material similar in composition to the amorphous mass that controls them. All that remains is their skin and vague shape.
This reminds me of something.
SCP-428 hub. When not actively seeking new victims to assimilate, SCP-428 enters
a movie I've seen.
Assimilated victims standing in a circle around
not the body snatchers,
mumbling to one another and swaying gently. SCP-428 and its crowd will enter a hostile state if anyone travels within 2 meters of it. With surprising speed and ferocity, members of the crowd will try to mob the unfortunate victim in a sudden ambush, bringing them into the proximity of the hub. If they remain in this state for over 10 seconds, a cord will attach to their body, and their vital systems will be replaced, and they will be assimilated into the crowd, just like the other victims of SCP-428 were before them. If, however, the victim somehow manages to escape before the process is complete, this will not be the end of their ordeal. Should someone evade,
it's gonna come after them.
SCP-428 and the crowd will enter a period of active hunting behavior to seek out the escaping victim. Failing that, they will try to assimilate any human wandering into their vicinity. There is no safe way to approach SCP-428 or any of its members under any circumstances. To do so is to court a fate worse.
It better not be fucking bulletproof or some shit.
SCP-428 and the crowd will return to a dormant state until another victim presents itself. Foundation studies have determined that SCP-428 seeks to add at least one person to its crowd every month, and if a person is not provided, then it will engage in hunting behavior, putting everyone in the area in grave danger. SCP-428 isn't controlling a gaggle of mindless zombies, though. It is an extremely intelligent hive mind, made all the more frightening by the fact that it absorbs the knowledge, memories, and skills of each of its victims, and can reapply them through any of the others. Because of this, it appears to have incredibly adept knowledge of the human mind, and will happily resort to using tactics of psychological manipulation to gain an advantage.
Got his ass.
Despite being a large crowd, tests have shown that SCP-428 victims can move terrifyingly fast. This is because, due to the very nature of the perfectly attuned hive mind, they can walk or run in perfect synchronicity. To best understand this, picture a centipede skittering at great speed across a wall. So many legs, but all sharing a perfectly coordinated nervous system, working together to move the creature with military precision. Even individually, each member of the crowd is a formidable foe. Once they become part of SCP-428, they exhibit greatly increased strength. They show no signs of feeling pain, and also have the ability to quickly heal any injuries.
Sheesh.
Also do not seem to
see, this is what I'm talking about. You gotta shoot the blob.
The leg won't slow it down in the slightest. However, while this creature is incredibly intelligent and dangerous, the same can be said for the SCP Foundation. And in the time since they discovered it, they have ascertained a few weaknesses, even though some of this knowledge came at a heavy cost. Though members of the crowd appear significantly resistant to damage, the SCP-428 hub itself appears to be vulnerable to attack, more than capable of feeling pain. If the hub is damaged in a manner that would cause pain, every member of the crowd is able to feel it, often collapsing and writhing around in agony. When the creature collects itself, it will retreat, guarded by its human shields. The Foundation has used this method to corral the creature back into containment during breaches, with the controlled applications
You
of
would think it
fire
would have
or
more people than
electricity
that if it has
being
to get a
favorite
person
methods
a
of Foundation
month.
security forces. Severing the connection between a member of the crowd and the central hub is also a surefire way to weaken the overall ability of SCP-428. A severed crowd member will immediately collapse, the SCP-428 material inside it liquefying and excreting from every orifice. This may intensify SCP-428's drive
This
to
is
discover a
horrible.
new victim, but it can also be used as a method of population control for the crowd itself. There has been one major incident concerning SCP-428 since its containment at the SCP Foundation, and it acted as a painful reminder to all staff that one should never underestimate the abilities of the anomalies they contain. Evidently, one of the people assimilated by SCP-428 in the past was skilled in the art of lockpicking, as SCP-428 had absorbed this skill. It took apart one of its members' belts and used the pieces to pick the lock of its containment chamber from the inside.
That's why it should be, all these things should be electronic.
Crouching just outside the door, the cord slithering through the crack in the door behind her. She fell to her knees and began to weep loudly, attracting the attention of a nearby researcher. Naturally, when you hear a distressed person crying, it's human instinct to go investigate.
If I can save a hole over here.
Hadn't been briefed on the nature
Now you
and
about to get
abilities of
assimilated.
SCP-428, which left him
He gonna latch on
completely
his
unprepared
dick.
for the horrifying fate that awaited him. As he
Oh,
leaned
why'd
in
I
to
say
comfort
that?
the
That just
crying
made me
woman,
visualize.
the
Oh,
crowd immediately
shit.
emerged from the containment chamber's door, mobbing him. One forced its hand over his mouth,
It's like some
stifling
gang
his
rape
scream
type shit.
as he was pulled in and quickly assimilated. While SCP-428 could pick locks, absorbing a member of SCP Foundation staff, both giving it access to the Foundation site layouts and inner workings, as well as a presentable frontman to assuage suspicion, was like getting its fleshy tendrils on a kind of
They know they're like people at SCP
SCP-428
Foundation don't
and its crowd,
smile.
with the assimilated researcher at the head, progressed through the building, avoiding key security checkpoints and absorbing several other researchers and guards along the way. This was a particularly frightening development, as it allowed SCP-428 to further expand both its knowledge of the SCP Foundation and its skills in everything from science to armed and hand-to-hand combat. With every new person it took in, it grew significantly stronger and more dangerous to Foundation personnel. Thankfully, it drew the right kind of attention before it had a chance to escape the containment site proper. A mobile task force was dispatched to contain SCP-428 and the crowd and force it back into its containment chamber. However, being an extremely persistent creature, this minor setback didn't do anything to quell its desire to escape. Given that several members of its crowd were now ex-Foundation staff members, it tried to leverage this in order to manipulate the people.
You better not open it.
This became such a problem that a researcher appended a note to its file, reading,
You
"People, these
fucking
casualties
idiot.
are gone. They are SCP-428 now. No matter what it might say or do, they are not your work colleagues nor your friends anymore. Remember this.
It's
It may
like the,
save your
I'm
life."
kind of like the thing
SCP-428
almost.
and its crowd is currently
Except they're
contained
not,
in a
you know,
5 meter by 5 meter by
they don't
5
turn
meter
like
cell,
grotesque
walls
creatures.
electrified to 30,000 volts to discourage attempts by members of the crowd to break or climb them. The cell is accessed via an airlock, and entry is restricted to level 3 researchers and below, while escorted by 2 armed guards in order to eliminate the risk of SCP-428 absorbing a valuable asset to the SCP Foundation and coming into possession of truly catastrophic knowledge and skills as a result. Just imagine the disastrous results if, say, a member of the O5 Council were suddenly a part of SCP-428. Researchers are to remain a minimum of 2 meters away at all times, and it is mandatory for at least 2 armed guards to stay posted at the chamber's entrance at all times. SCP-428 is to be given 1 member of D-Class personnel to assimilate every single month in order to prevent it from engaging in hunting behavior. Due to SCP-428's frightening ability to absorb memories, skills, and intelligence, all D-classes given to 428 are screened for low intelligence and a lack of valuable skills to ensure that the anomaly isn't being given any new aces up its sleeves. However, continually giving
Why don't you just give them
428
brain
new
dead
victims
people?
is going to increase its overall size and thus necessitate gradual containment upgrades. The possibility
Just kill
of
it.
permanently neutralizing SCP-428 is being explored, but in the meantime, it has been given the Euclid Object class because of its intelligence, skills, and unpredictability. While the SCP Foundation is all about sacrificing the individual for the greater good, this is one frightening collective that they couldn't endorse becoming a part of. Now go and watch another entry from the classified files of Dr. Bob,
The Bob
such as
Squad.
SCP-4910, the Grinner, for another anomaly that wants to alter your body and not for the good. And make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single anomaly as we delve further and further into the SCP Foundation's classified archives.
Okay, thank God. I was hoping. I said, please. I hope this thing didn't stop recording because when I was checking earlier, it was acting stupid. But oh, they messed up my. But this is horrifying. Like, well, I guess it's not quite as bad because it basically kills the person. So it's not like you're in there, but you're not in control. You're basically dead, and it's just using your skin, like you're to walk around and trick other people. But why would you keep this alive? See, this is my problem with the SCP Foundation. Like you're giving this thing a person a month to keep it from going into like its predatory mode. But you're trying to say, oh, we'll give it low intelligent people, but you're still giving it people, and it's getting stronger. It's not getting as strong as it would from, and I guess, intelligent people or people with certain set of skills or whatever. But you're still giving it people, and it's still getting stronger. Like that if you can injure it and hurt it, why don't you just incinerate this thing? Like, well, you keep giving it. Like, can they not incinerate? That's what they said they can injure it with bullets and shit. So I'm assuming it's not invincible like some of these other SCPs that seem to just be invincible. But just kill the thing. Stop like all this research bullshit. Just kill it. like like why? That's what I'm with the global occult coalition because they just like just kill all this shit. I mean, some of these things I'm like I could see researching a bit at first to see the threat level, and then okay, now it's time to kill it. But this thing, most of these things be like, uh, they be highly dangerous, and they just keep it contained. Some of these things they try to kill, like what the shy guy they try to kill it now, or uh, what was it, SCP-82? I mean 682, the mortal lizard. Now the thing is with him, I don't think they're really trying to kill it, like they kill it because it's dangerous. They're doing it to see because it's immortal and to see, oh, will it recover from this? Will it recover from this? So it's not like kill it because this thing is dangerous. They're like, oh, we got to see the limitations, test the limitations of this thing's abilities to regenerate. So I I couldn't work for these people. I bet this is stupid, especially after some shit like that happened where it assimilated a bunch of other people, and then you open the door. If I was security there and he would have opened that door, I'd have let him open it. He'd have snatched his ass in there and I would have just closed the door. I'm like, cause you are a fucking idiot. You know that they have to be briefed. People guarding those things. They have to be briefed on like, okay, you're guarding this SCP today. Don't open this fucking door. You shouldn't even be. You shouldn't even have the keys to open the door. If someone's going to go in there or whatever, it should be another guard being escorting a researcher coming. I have the key to, like, not the people just standing guard by the door. Cause like this idiot just opened the door. He's like, "Hey, it's me. You remember me, buddy? You let me out of here." And like, he just opens the door and gets snatched. How about you, fucking idiot? Like, if anything, they should have a button. Like someone who is in whatever control center should just have a button to just hit and just incinerate that whole floor. Cause like, why are you containing this? It sounds like there's nothing more to learn from this. I'm like, sure that something else will come up, somebody write something else, but this thing assimilates people And then it seems to his only purpose is to assimilate, and that's it. Take as many people as he can, assimilate them, and then grow stronger and bigger. I guess it gets bigger too. The more people it has, almost kind of remind me of the blob. Like the more materials seem to eat, and particularly humans, it got bigger and bigger. But I'm just trying to understand, like, why? Why is this thing? Why don't they have a kill order to just kill it? That with the shy guy, it's hard to kill it. As far as we know, we can't. I know someone wrote something. Um, it was some story where the shy guy was actually killed. I don't know who wrote. I don't know if it was the original person who created the shy guy, SCP, or if it was like somebody else came in and was like, I wonder, like, if trying to be, do something different. Like, hey, how about if I write, they're figuring out ways to kill these actually SCPs. So, and I think I want to say I read something where they killed the old man. That's the guy that can like open up a pocket dimension. He snatches people and brings them in there, and then like tortures them, tortures them. And that's a torches or tortures. And he doesn't burn them. He, I don't really know what he does, but they come back like petrified. But I think he wrote something about how to defeat that thing. He wrote about how to defeat the shy guy. It has something to do with like completely destroying his bones. I think it's he could if he could basically heal from his bones, and his bones are like extremely durable. But if you could destroy them, then you could kill the shy guy. And I think he killed it somehow. And there was some other stuff. I think it was he was able to kill. Um, well, not kill. I think he or she. I don't know who wrote it. Like they did something with the immortal lizard, the 682. I think they just encased him like in some type of titanium, like steel alloy or something, to where they couldn't move and they couldn't get any leverage, like to break out of it. So they were just stuck in there. And because I know that that lizard can alternate its size, but I don't know because I think because I was like, if it can alternate its size, won't it just become like as big as Godzilla? But I guess there's limitations on it. I don't know all the limitations. Oh, sometimes it's like comic books, like, oh, this thing can do this, or this person can do this, but for some reason they didn't do it in this story where it could have been beneficial. But if they had done it, then the story would have ended. So they didn't do it. It's for the sake of the story. They just kind of forget about it, and they hope you forget about it. But that was good. That was good. Yeah, I've never seen that one. It's SCP. That is creepy. And then it follows you. It's like that's the thing. Like if you do get away, then it's like, okay. The next motherfucker I see is getting these hands. That's basically what it is. So no matter sleep a homeless person, up, got your ass. That person was a little too fast. All right, you're good now. Come here, and just because it followed this chick home and got her. Like I don't know, like what the fuck was with that stairway? And she's sitting there just staring at like, I mean, I get it. You getting attacked. You see these worm-like things attached to these people. You're freaking out a bit. And then, like they said, she had a fight or flight response, which was fight. So she was able to kill basically one of them. And then she didn't run immediately because then she was like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then when she started running, it was too late. They was able to get her because apparently she's running up like I don't know, like run up the stairway up to the top of the Eiffel Tower or something. Because I was like, why is it taking so long for her to get up these stairs in this small ass house? and got her ass. I like how it's like he uses her to cry and to get a guy to come, like, oh, let me help you. And then, like, oh, got your ass. You get in line over here. But anyway, hope y'all enjoyed my reaction. And if you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button down below. Make sure to subscribe if you're new here. Hit that bell to notify when I upload new videos. Comment down below. Share this video. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.